Adams Oshiomhole is firing back at Governor Seyi Makinde, calling his demand for a UN probe into the Orire school kidnapping most unstatesmanly and accusing him of carrying partisan politics too far. Let's watch.
But, Mr. President, I read this morning in newspapers, and I've seen it even with the electronic, the governor of Edo State calling on the United Nations to investigate the overall circumstances surrounding the kidnap and even the rescue. I thought that was the most unstatesmanly. It was carrying partisan politics too far, and this Senate should condemn his unguided statement. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. When we wake up and call on foreign authorities to investigate, this is one case in which our armed forces have shown that without paying ransom, even if it meant that these children and some of the elders had to be in captivity for almost 2 months, that the armed forces were working quietly to have these rescue operations, which, as well captured in this motion, led to some loss of life. To trivialize it, to suggest, as the governor of Edo State seems to have done, that there is something that is not open, that the UN needs to unearth the circumstances, is to question the sovereignty of our nation and to downplay the achievement of the commander-in-chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all the service chiefs, and in fact all those involved in this process. I think that there is a moment in the history of a nation when, across party divide, we should stand in unison to commend what has happened, the way in which people were released, and to encourage the armed forces to build on it, that they should extend and get more gadgets. It's not possible for them to share with us some of the things they did. Like I heard, they were able to identify the guys, arrest some of their relatives, etc., etc. These are not details that we're interested in. Very good point. But I want us to resolve that
Thank you.
The governor of Edo State should not be seen as downplaying, undermining, and politicizing an issue in which ought to be something that the whole nation, across party divide, should start the UDC to commend.
Tinubu administration is gradually coming to an end. Governor Seyi Makinde just dropped a bombshell that is making the APC be on panic mode right now. The House world is also shaking because Seyi Makinde wrote to the UN telling them that the moment he declared intention to contest for presidency, Uyo school students were being kidnapped in less than 24 hours. That Tinubu administration is behind the kidnapping, the insecurity existing here in Nigeria, and that is why Senator Edo State has now firing back at Seyi Makinde, demanding for him to withdraw his statement that he's already submitted to the UN, that the UN should come and investigate the bribing and corruption, how Nigeria have engaged themselves into kidnapping of school students. So he's now trying back just to make sure that he protects Tinubu administration for 2027 election. He now said that the chief of commander, which is President Tinubu, is working hard, and other chief executives are working hard just to make sure that Nigeria is a peaceful place. Nigeria is a place that bribing and corruption will not take place. All of this is just trying that Tinubu should go back for a second term. I would like you to listen to what Arise TV said, Arise TV reaction, and what they have to say about this. We'll be right back.
Oshiomhole's argument is that the Oyo rescue operation is proof that domestic institutions can deliver accountability without international intervention. But Makinde's supporters argue that the UN call was never about the rescue operation. It was about the circumstances of the abduction and who may bear responsibility for how long it lasted. The Oyo State Assembly has backed Makinde's call, but the Senate has asked Makinde to withdraw it. The debate is far from over. Now, the real question is not whether Makinde was statesmanly. It's whether anyone will be held accountable for 56 days that teachers and school children were held in captivity. Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. Of course, this Oyo rescue operation and the politics behind it will continue to play out until we get a balance to the story. But meanwhile, Senator Abdul Ningi called on the government to immediately parade and prosecute all suspects arrested in connection with the Oyo kidnapping, and also proposed that families of security personnel killed during the rescue operation be compensated. Let's take a look.
Now we have people arrested. These people must immediately be paraded, prosecuted, and laid low, take its course. Delaying prosecution will create another impression that something is amiss. I therefore call on the prosecutorial authorities to please, as a matter of urgency, let them prosecute, let them parade, let them show an example to these people.
All right, I don't know what your thoughts are about parading these, suspects at this point. Yeah. But Ningi also urged the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribaudu, to sustain the interagency collaboration that made the rescue possible and replicate it across other security operations nationwide. Now, 8 kidnappers are in custody, and the families of 3 fallen security heroes are waiting for justice and compensation. And I'll just take Bayo Ononuga's reaction before I come to you, reacting to Makinde's call for a UN probe. Well, Bayo Ononuga fired back at Governor Seyi Makinde, describing his call for a UN probe as bizarre politics, saying that Makinde is simply trying to weaponize anything available because he's now a presidential candidate. Just an excerpt of that interview he gave to, I believe, Punch newspapers. Your thoughts?
Let me start off, first of all, with a simple statement on the call by Senator Ningi to parade, prosecute. Yes, there's been a call to swiftly carry out the process of justice on all those who were arrested. That is within, the conversation, and is said to be a way to ensure that we're able to fight against terrorism. Part of it is the full course of the law and ensure that there's no delay in that matter. But the issue around parading has also come under a lot of controversy, because whether or not, and despite how upset and angry Nigerians are and the graveness of their actions, that is the kidnappers, they still fall under the remit of the provisions of the law, which is that they are deemed innocent until proven guilty. So even if they were caught in the forest, under the Nigerian law, until a court of competent jurisdiction and law is able to, find them guilty, they are still presumed innocent until guilty. And under this premise, we've often argued that when you parade suspects, if in the event that they are found, not culpable or their sentences reduced, you've already put a stigma on them. There's already trauma attached to them. So in our anger, in our passion, I still believe that, to a very large extent, let the rule of law persist. Let the rule of law be established. Let us not circumvent the law. Yes, there are some things and exceptions that we make when it comes to terrorism, but we still need to ensure that their fundamental human rights are upheld, even though they abuse the fundamental human rights of the others, especially the right to, freedom and association. But so that's on that one. But let me now talk about this debate around whether or not the United Nations should be called in, whether it is, it is politicized, whether or not they do not have the powers or jurisdiction to come and interfere, as some people have put it. And earlier today I had said that actually in previous cases of mass abduction of children, the United Nations had conducted independent investigations. The Chibok girls in 2014, the Kankara boys in Katsina State, there was an investigation because abduction of children actually falls under the 6 grave, grave constitutions of the United Nations, and it is important to mention that. And so in cases like that, they can institute an independent investigation. In other areas, a state can actually invite the United Nations where they feel that they do not have local capacity. Regional leaders, like the governor of Oyo State, can call for an independent investigation. What do investigations do? They ensure that they're able to find out the real cause, the root cause, and based on those recommendations from the report, ensure that we're able to avoid instances like that from repeating itself. I had called for the Nigerian state to conduct an independent investigation, and if the United Nations, based on the gravity of the abduction of children, decide to conduct an investigation, why not so? And I don't think that Governor Seyi Makinde should be said, oh, don't do this. If he feels that there's more that meets the eye to the case, then by all means, this is a state. He's the chief security officer. He has a right to ask for more eyes and more investigation to be done, especially if he doesn't trust what has happened on ground.
Oh, well, all right. I think we've discussed the story at length. We'll now head over to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where Minister Nyesom Wike is generating reactions after revealing at the commissioning of a water supply network on Tuesday that he relies on his wife, Suzette's prayers to maintain President Tinubu's continued support. He also fired a pointed warning at the opposition with his latest song, Becoming President is not cha-cha-cha. Let's take a look.
You see, I've said to so many people, I was a governor and I was a minister before. You can be a minister. You see, if you don't have that support, it is difficult for you to perform. You must have that support. And that's why each day I wake up, I tell my wife, she prays a lot. I don't know how to pray very well. The best prayer I can pray is, God, let me come back safely today. But she prays very well. I said, continue to pray that Mr. President will not look away from us. And Mr. President has given FCT all the support he required to change the narratives. And that's why we on our own part say we will not disappoint Mr. President. I have told people who say that they want to be in power. You have heard it, it's not cha-cha-cha. To be president is not what? Cha-cha-cha. You don't wake up any morning and say, I want to be president. No, it's not. It doesn't happen that way. So we are prepared. The president is prepared. And anybody who says he has what it takes is your business.
I wish we had Dr. Abati. It's cracking up. No be cha-cha-cha. Well, you know, Wike is clearly signaling that Tinubu's camp is not taking 2027 lightly. Prayers and politics, only Wike can deliver both in the same breath. I'll just take some reactions before I come to you, Dr. Abati. Amani wrote on X, say what you like about Wike, but you can't take away the fact that he is a born performer. The record keeps speaking for itself. I will take half of him over 100 of Mr. Integrity. Who is Mr. Integrity? Nse wrote, I align with Wike on this. Contesting for Nigeria president is not a tea party where someone will just wake up without grassroots structure, waiting for online children to lead you to Aso Rock with online noise and online insults. Online noise and online. Dr. Abati, over to you.
Okay,
yes, really briefly. Just to...
I was amused by the reaction of the First Lady.
The First Lady.
That was the major part of the story. But one of the lessons we learned very early on this job is that if you want to say anything, be careful with the wives. Avoid the wives if you don't want to get into trouble. Right. But I think, that was very amusing. And, the antics of Wike, the way he was doing as if he has epilepsy, I think must be the thing that amused the First Lady. Yeah. But I also align with Nyesom Wike.
Yes.
to be president of Nigeria is not cho.
Can't just be
It's not.
Cho means talk.
It's not by printing posters. It takes a lot more in terms of strategy and focus. Even to present what's trending, it's not cho.
Not cho at all.
You have to prepare.
Hours and hours of preparation.
I'm sure you spend 5 hours.
More than 5 hours sometimes.
Every morning.
Most of the time.
And then his point about his wife praying for him, and so that they will continue to get the support of the president. The president of Nigeria is a monarch within the purview of the constitution and in terms of operations. Nobody in that presidency can do anything if you don't have the backing of the principal. So Nyesom Wike, who has been part of the system for a while, knows the game. He understands the game. And that's why he now has a dedicated prayer warrior in his house to be praying every day that they should get the favor of the monarch. And he says he's prepared and that the president is also prepared. So it's a statement of fact there. He's giving an empirical evidence that if you don't have the support of the most powerful man, there's very little that you can do.
All right, everybody listen.
So he's a very loyal, obedient, faithful servant.
Well said, Dr. Mati, well said.
And that is dancing style. Let him change it because I thought he was going to fall.
Everyone's cracking up. Dr. Mati, well, all right.
People, you have seen the reaction from Arise Channel TV. How the APC government is trying to frustrate opposition party in Nigeria, and how Wike came out and said that to become a president in Nigeria, no be cho, that Tinubu our leader, that they are going to vote for Tinubu in 2027. And also, he's urging his wife to pray for him because he doesn't know how to pray, because he wants Tinubu to always keep favoring him. That Tinubu should always keep favoring him with appointment. That is what he's telling his wife, that he will make sure he will try by all means that Tinubu is going back for 2027 election. Tinubu will win 2027 election because Tinubu is our leader. Have you seen how what he's saying? Definitely he's saying that they are the one behind all this atrocity that have been happening here in Nigeria, because they are trying by all means to make sure that Tinubu will go back. They are trying by all means to stop opposition. That is why you see that Atiku Abubakar and Amechi are not going to contest for 2027 election again, because the Court of Appeal have notified them that all what they are doing, their convention and the primaries that they took place they did not follow the right judicial process. No wonder Chidi Ude Kalu said that Tinubu is boss of all mafia bossy, because of the structure, how Tinubu have calculated everything, how he has marked up everything for 2027 and 2031. Then definitely means that there will be a third thing. That Tinubu is going for 12 years. He's going to be a Nigerian president for 12 years. That is what they're telling us. That's maybe before you become Nigerian president, you have to prepare yourself very well. You must have grassroots vote. That Tinubu has grassroots voters and key politician support. No wonder Tinubu has 31 governors and people supporting him. That is what Wike is saying. Have you seen that in all of this, even the Oyo school kidnapping, APC have a hand inside this issue? No wonder they are urging the young man not to withdraw his statement from the UN, because they know that if the UN starts investigating Nigeria, the Tinubu will not succeed in election. No wonder Adam Shulere was not shouting, running his mouth. He's shouting for his appointment, for them to give him appointment in 2027. That is why Adam Shulere did not want to say that. Why should mankind go and say this? But mankind was right. The moment he declared for presidency, in less than 24 hours, the US students were being kidnapped. What was the major reason? The reason that he declared for presidency. Tinubu now saw it as a threat to lose his vote and supporters in 2027. He decided to use this thing against mankind. As mankind was raising the incident, and Peter be saying it also, the women started paying attention to it. They now decided to release the children. And as they released the children, these children were dressed on uniform, they were kidnapped on uniform, but they taught them, all of them, they were clothed them, and they were feeding them. They were not looking like people who are kidnapped. So to show that APC government, that if these children are being caught, they will not succeed. They just want to kidnap them and make people might turn against mankind. Make people might say that mankind is a bad person, he's the one in charge of the kidnapping of the children. That is what APC have structured. In order for Tinubu to win 2027 election, they want to give us back hungry. They want to give us back insecurity. You see, this young man is happy because of the millions that have been stealing from the governors, because of the millions that have been stealing from the presidency. And the poor average Nigeria is suffering, trying for us to have a better Nigeria. And you are still telling us that we will give Tinubu our vote. It's only you that will vote in, and Tinubu will not succeed this election because we want a better Nigeria. People are agitating a better Nigeria. Who is this person that can give us a better Nigeria? It's only P2B. In other words, he's sending a direct message to P2B that P2B should prepare yourself because they are going to do by all means, more possible means, to use INEC to rig election, use judiciary to rig election. They don't use INEC, they will use the judiciary, and the judiciary they have no say because these are the only people that will talk black to white and white to black. Because Tinubu, who is chief of the federation, is Tinubu boy. Who is the INEC chairman? Is Tinubu boy. Have you seen how Tinubu have marked up everything and become boss of all mafia booking to make sure that he will succeed in 2027 election? So the only way that we can succeed now is for us to remove Amakwikon, to remove INEC chairman and change the judiciary chief justice of the federation. That is the only way we can have a better governance. But if we don't change them, everything means that these bandits and insecurity and hardship will still continue in Nigeria. So my people, I will drop a shocking video letter for you to watch and see what Nigeria is actually heading to and why are we allowing this to happen in Nigeria. Please make sure you share this video so that people will get notified and do well to leave a thought in the comment section. Drop your thought in the comment section. What do you say about all this politics and what do you have to say about Wiki? Let me see your honest thought in the comment section. Thank you.